Hi everyone, welcome to our first class. This is Brows Matter. So as you can see, I have one brow on and one brow not on. And you can see a huge difference in the appearance and the shape of my face, whether I have a brow or I don't have a brow. So applying brows can be really tricky, and it's been something I've been constantly improving on. So I want to share with you the tricks and the tips that I've learned over the years to really get a great brow that doesn't look too overdone and too over dramatic, to look more natural and to look like you were just born with really great brows, which is what we as women really want. So I'm using a few different products. The first thing that you want to make sure that you have to get really great brows is a really good brow brush. I'm using Unique's Brow Artist Brush. It has two ends. One end has an angled an angled brush with stiff bristles, and the other end is a flat end, and both of them are very narrow. And then this one's flat and is more for highlighting. So this end is the end that I use for my brows. You want to have a good base. A dip brow is really good. I use a cream shadow. This one is called Faithful. This is also from Unique. And I just take that angled end of the brush and I just dab it in there a little bit. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way with this product. And so the key to your brows is you want them to start going straight up the edge of your nose, up the inner corner of your eye, and start there. And you can do little like little marks to indicate those points. And then you want it to go from the edge of your nose along the outer corner of your eye to the end of your brow, and that'll leave, do you see the little mark I made there? And we can clean those up if they're not inside the lines when we're finished. And then you want to go along the edge of your nose again and through the middle of your pupil to the highest point. This will be the highest point of our brow, and that's when it starts to angle downwards. All right? So you want to follow the natural shape of your brow to get the best, most natural brow. So I always start by outlining and going under my brow, and there may be spaces or gaps in there that you're filling in, and I'm just going to add as I need to. And again, just a little bit at a time. You don't need a lot with this product. All right, and then we're just tracing along there and tracing along the edge of our brow. Now, if you don't get your eyebrows waxed, or you've never had them, or you never pluck them or anything like that, that's really important. You want to clean up the area where the hairs are falling sparsely. If you do nothing else, just clean up those sparse hairs that are straggling along, because we don't want to include those in what we're outlining. I'm just going to wipe off that little bit that was outside of the line, but that was our marker for where we were ending. And then I go along the top of my brow and I trace to that point where it was the highest, and that's when I turn the angled brush downwards and start meeting in the middle with that second, the bottom part of my brow. And then I just kind of fill it in. And again, we're just using a little bit. Now, this may not be the right color for you. That's another important thing with your brows, is making sure that you're using the right color. Using the wrong color is going to distract from having that realistic, natural brow look that we all want. We want people to think that we just have really great brows. And if you're using black brow color and you have blonde hair or very fair skin, that's not going to look natural. So we want to make sure that it's a natural color for your hair and skin color. So if you need help with matching up colors, I can definitely help with that. You can shoot me a message and I can help you find a good color for your brows. Okay, and then as I get towards the middle, I want to just fade the color. I want it to look the lightest towards the middle and the darkest towards the edge. So use less and less product as you get closer to the front side of your brow or the inner side. And just trace along that and just kind of blend it in. And again, we just want to keep that arch going. And then if it seems like if your brows aren't matching up, you might want to trace a little thicker or clean up a little bit to make sure that our brows look as similar as possible. Brows are sisters, they're not twins, so you don't have to worry about them being identical, but we do want them to look very similar. So I always try to make them the same thickness and approximately the same brow shape. So I always trace along this side a little higher because this brow over here does have a little bit more of an arch to it than this brow does. So I always am trying to make this brow a little bit higher than outside the lines. And don't worry if you make a mistake, you can take concealer and clear that back up if it does get too crazy. Oop, there we go, I just got a little crazy. And we just want to trace that back down and clean that back up. And then I'm just wiping off the color a little bit so that we can get this into the middle a little bit more. And again, we're just tracing along what would, if there's not hair there, what would be the natural brow line. Because I was a child of the 90s and I plucked really far out because that was the style then. And the hair still isn't growing back as far inward as I'd like. Okay, so this one seems to be a little lower, so I'm going to go a little bit lower here. Okay, so once our brows are even in shape and size and location, then what I do, I'm just cleaning this up a little bit more. I feel like it's not quite there yet. Sometimes it takes a few minutes longer than you anticipate. So take your time, focus on getting it right, not rushing. And it does take practice. Getting your brows perfect and how you want them does take practice. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, and my brows have been something that I never really focused on. I didn't realize the importance of how much brows impacted my overall appearance and how it affected the color and the appearance of the rest of my makeup. So it took me a long time to really embrace doing my brows. So I want you guys to know that it is important and it does make a huge difference in how your makeup looks. So now I have the brow palette, which has a few different colors, as well as a highlighter. And I really like this because I can lighten the color at the front of my brows a little bit more. And I'm just using the lightest color in the palette, the lighter brown, to lighten up the forefront, the inner part of my brow. And I'm going to lighten it up some more, but this is just going to lighten up my the inner part. So then what I do is I take my powder brush, which is really dirty, and I tap that along the inner part of my eyebrow, again, so that we're transitioning from from skin to brow, so that it's transitioning from color, or from skin to hair, is what we're trying to create the illusion of. So once you've completed that step, and it's blended well, it's looking really natural in the beginning, in the middle, towards your the bridge of your nose, then what I do is I highlight underneath my brow, and what that will do is it will raise the appearance of your brow. It'll make your brow look like it's more arched than it is. And I'm using the highlighter from the brow palette, the champagne colored highlighter, and what we'll do is we'll just trace under that right up to the brow. And what I do is if I've gone outside of the lines anywhere, I just take that highlighter and wipe away the brow and replace it with highlighter. And then I just go on the outer corner. You don't need to go all the way under your brow, and out. So about halfway, or a third of the way into your brow. Then just clean up underneath. And you have really high looking, high arched brows. So that's how you do that. Then I do my eye makeup, and then that will complete the look. So that's where we're starting. Let's see what it looks like with a finished eye look. Here's the finished look with my eyes completed. You can see the difference that the brows make in completing that look. Without brows, it really downplays your eye makeup completely. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message or comment below. I'm always here to help you guys. Thanks so much.